Welcome everybody to episode 64 of the Centre Circle podcast. You got myself, Keith, hosting today. To my left, you got
Binzi.
The dad's in the building.
welcome. How we doing, guys? We all right?
Yeah, I'm well, I just came back from holiday, so hopefully I still got my tan.
Yeah, no, you're
Got
looking like
loads
you're
of muscle.
glowing.
Looking
You're looking like you're glowing.
Looking refreshed.
I
Not gonna
know.
lie.
London traffic's ruining my zen, so already, but other than that, I'm good.
Yeah, I hear that. All right, so before we get into it, just going to say thank you for all the likes, shares, subscriptions, etc. Please keep it up. Today's pod's just going to be a bit of a cup final roundup. We didn't record last week, so we're just going to do a catch up of the cup finals that have taken place over the last couple of weeks. All right, let's get into it. The big one yesterday, Champions League final at Wembley, Dortmund v Real Madrid. For those of you that may not have seen it or haven't heard, Dortmund 0, Real Madrid 2. About 15? No, 16.
15.
15. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's mental.
It's nearly double the next team.
Yeah.
Who's next up? Is it
AC
AC Milan? And
AC.
they've got 8.
Yeah, AC Milan.
So
yeah.
one more, they double the next team.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right. You guys both see it?
Yeah.
Of
Watched
course. Yeah, of course.
So for me, the chances that Dortmund missed, you just know, like, it's just the way football works, innit?
Everyone knew it.
Just don't take your chances. So it started with the kind of big chance was Adeyemi, 1-on-1 with Courtois, who hadn't played much for Real Madrid this season. Got an ACL injury at the start of the season. Managed to get fit over the last kind of few months. But Lunin, who actually came in for Kepa, because Kepa was the number one keeper for them at the start of the season. Lunin's come in and he's done really well.
Yeah.
And it was a bit unfortunate that he got a fever at the start of the week, couldn't train, had to end up flying separately from the squad
Wow.
to the final because they didn't want to get anyone else ill. And Ancelotti kind of had to make a decision about whether he starts or starts Courtois. Started Courtois and it kind of paid off. Like, even with that 1-on-1 with Adeyemi, he
Sent him wide.
Yeah, didn't commit. Like, he kind of put the choice on Adeyemi, didn't he?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? And, but what do you think? Adeyemi should have, like, shot early, gone the other way? A lot of people said he should have gone right instead of left.
Gone the other way, yeah.
I think it was Adam Quest said it in the commentary.
Yeah.
All his body momentum was going that way. If he pushes it that way, he's rounded the goal in easy. I don't know why he's then come back to his weaker foot as well.
Yeah.
It's very surprising. If he goes the other way, I think he scores.
Yeah, it's one of the ones where they say you can have too much time.
Mm.
Like, you're a striker, that's like they say, if you've got too much time,
Yeah.
you kind of messes with what you're going to do, etc. And yeah, it's just a shame. But that was quite early in the game, so you think, right, they might get another chance. And they did. Fulkrug hit the post just before half-time. It might have been offside if it had gone in. Like, we don't know because it didn't happen. But going into the game, everyone had Real Madrid down as favourite.
Yeah.
A lot of people saying 2-3-0 Madrid. It's going to be an easy game. But based on the first half, Dortmund were the better team and by far.
Yeah. I think that people are being a bit disingenuous about in terms of Real Madrid could have annihilated them, but if we actually look at the last few games Real Madrid played to get to the finals, they hadn't actually played that well. They done the job, didn't they? They scored at the right time. They kept clean sheets. They stayed in the game and they won. That's it. But actually, if you talk about a collective performance, the performance to the final wasn't scintillating or anything special. It was just like very, what's the word I'm going to look for? Kind of just
workmanlike.
Yeah, and competent. It was just enough. So
methodical to get over the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, they seem to just do just enough. Whatever needs to be done, they do just enough. Like, if you look at it, it's not even just this season, it's the last few seasons, really. They've won games that you just don't expect them to win. Like, they shouldn't be. The flow and how these games are going, they shouldn't actually be winning them. But I don't know, they just find a way. Is it just the legacy? Is it just the a la Madrid? I don't know what it is, but there is just so many times you think this team...
They're out. They're down and out.
And not even that they should be down and out, because they deserve to be down and out. Like they are not winning the game.
Yeah.
They don't deserve to be
They're not
winning the game,
convincing.
but then they always come back and win this.
But
It's crazy.
But then is that what happens when you buy the best of the best? So you got Vinicius, you got Bellingham, you got all match winners. You know, Rodrigo.
But you say that, but if you look at the first half especially, their kind of key players were Valverde,
Yeah.
Nacho, Carvajal,
Carvajal,
and they're
yeah.
not kind of big money.
Mm.
It was mainly their defense. Like throw Rudiger in the mix as well.
Yeah.
Like I think Rudiger signed on a free from Chelsea, didn't he?
Yeah.
So it wasn't kind of in the first half. It wasn't big money signings that were kind of getting them out of the momentum that Dortmund were building, and that reflected in kind of the halftime analysis. People saying, "Well, where's Bellingham? Why hasn't he showed up?" Vinicius didn't really show up in the first half much. Rodrigo was pretty much elusive, pretty much whole game. Like so we're saying that they've got the big money signings and they're able to go out and get them, but it was kind of the old guard really that helped them out in the first half.
But then I think it's like that confidence. You know, like when you're in a period where you're like, we're gonna score. When our chance comes, we're gonna score.
Yeah.
And it's just knowing that, and that's why I'm saying the quality. They know they got that one player that can score that winner or score the equaliser. Remember, like how they got into the fight? It was Hosselu, weren't it?
Yeah,
like
score too. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
they just got that belief.
Yeah,
it's just unwavering belief. But I look at them and I think to myself, I've seen them a good few times this season, a couple of seasons ago, and I'm thinking, when was the last time have I been impressed
by their
by a
performance?
Madrid performance? I never am.
Nah,
but they
it's
always
just functional,
win.
ain't it?
Yeah, they always win. But I'm thinking to myself, they weren't that good.
Yeah,
but they've then gone on with the trophy.
I think you acknowledge individual performances, rather than a team performance. And I think in that individual, I think that, like you said, the back line was good.
Yeah,
and I think the only midfielder that played well for me, who was trying at least, was Camavinga.
Yeah. But even from a standpoint, this might sound crazy, but even I feel they get tactically out coached a lot of the time. Like if you go back to yesterday, they nullified Bellingham completely.
Yeah.
They put Emre Can on him. So from a tactical standpoint, I feel like the Dortmund coach got it all right.
Yeah. But it's just quality. Lacking that final bit of quality.
Yeah, that is true. But isn't that kind of a bit of a testament to Real Madrid, where they can be in situations time and time again where they may not necessarily be the best team on the pitch. And it does come down to a bit of fortune as well.
Yeah.
But they can always seem to get over the line and get it done. That they've shown that over the last kind of 3, 4, 5 years, even in the Champions League. They always manage to just do what's necessary to get over the line. And that's a credit in itself. Like you said, I think the players have got a mentality of, if we're in the game, we're gonna get something out of the game.
Yeah.
Like as long as it's 1-0 or 0-0, we're gonna be in the mix.
Yeah,
we're gonna be in the mix regardless. So that was the first half, and then second half, I think it kind of started off pretty similar to the way the first half finished. Like Dortmund were still getting a lot of the ball, still moving it well, getting chances. Nothing really clear cut. But then they get a corner, Cruz whips it in, and Carvajal is a really good header, to be fair. Just glancing header in, and then Bellingham, for all of the kind of criticism of the game he had, he comes away with an assist in a Champions League final to Vinicius, who slapped it in with kind of 10 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And you kind of knew once the first goal went in, it wasn't going to be Dortmund's night. Like, it's just, like I say, like we just said, you see it. If Dortmund had got the first goal, you
might have been
what's going to
different.
happen in it. They might have shut up shop, etc. But then Real Madrid get the first goal. You get a bit desperate, and I know it was a mistake by Maatsen. He played it across. And it was unsurprising by him because he's
been consistent.
Surprising by him because he's had a really good campaign. But you kind of give the ball away to elite players. Playing for Real Madrid, you're going to get punished, and that's what happened. So Real Madrid go on to lift the trophy, and then the debate that's kind of sparked from this is Vinicius and Bellingham. So Bellingham got the Liga Player of the Year. Some people find that a bit contentious because he wasn't top goal scorer or anything like that. But I think for a 19-year-old going into Real Madrid and having an impact that he has on the team, he scored 2 El Clasico winners in his first season. He was La Liga top goal scorer at some point. So yeah, the debate is he a potential for the Ballon d'Or along with Vinicius, who scored in the Champions League final? They've both had really good seasons. Going into the summer, they've both got international tournaments for their respective countries, the Euros and the Copa America. So is it a case of whoever does better in the summer might come away with it? Are they 1 and 2 basically? You just need to decide the order.
Yeah,
definitely. I think the fairy tale story around Jude is a bit more glamorous, ain't it? Like your journey from Birmingham to Dortmund, from Dortmund to Real Madrid, and instantly you've become like a leader within that. You know, you've connected with the fans. I think there's a bit more of a fairy tale story with his journey rather than Vinicius' journey. I'm not saying Vinicius' journey hasn't been thingy, but we just know of that journey. And like they look at him as 19 and, you know, there's murmurings of him being the future England captain, him being the future Real Madrid captain. Like, I think it's just a bit more for him. So if he has a good tournament, I think he might get it.
And I think the fact that Jude's going to the Euros, I think that kind of gives him a little bit of the edge.
Yeah.
I feel like the Euros is a tournament that's a lot more seen around the world. And obviously being a Ballon d'Or, that's going to be it's a European-based award. So I think Jude's got the little bit of an advantage. The fact that he's going to be in the Euros as opposed to Vini.
Yeah, and also as well, I don't know why. Like I said, I think because we think the Euros is better than the Copa America.
It's going to get more coverage.
It is. Yeah.
Is it? I think it's a coverage.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's bigger. It's a bigger tournament. I think it's a bigger tournament because it's with more eyes, I think, going to be on the Euros than the Copa America.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but
let's have a quick one. There's more bigger players in going to be going to the Euros than the Copa America. Is
it a better tournament though? Kind of standard-wise, do you think it is? I'm not saying yes or no either way. I'm just asking. I'm throwing the question out there.
I think it used to be until they expanded the Euros. So now the Euros, the quality's gone down because they've let more teams in. The Euros used to be you would have to be a really good team to be in it. But now, because they just gone to 24 teams now, so you've got 8 more teams that ain't as good. So it's not as competitive as it used to be.
And I agree. I think my thing is just because we don't have as much eyes on Copa America.
Yeah.
And because of the time difference as well, that becomes a bit of a struggle. So for you to get up and watch that, depending on the time difference, I know I'm not getting up or staying up till 2 a.m. Like, I'm going to sleep.
And Copa America, if it's not Brazil or Argentina, who else is making headway?
But I think that's where we're not watching it enough, are we?
Yeah.
Like, we look for those 2 big nations because they've produced the biggest footballers. But then if you look at Uruguay, gave us Suarez, you know.
Nunes.
Nunez, and a few others. So I think...
Jamaica in the Copa America this year and the USA. I think because it's in the USA this year, isn't it? Yeah,
they've invited 4 teams from the Caribbean to then go in the Copa America this year. So Jamaica are going in as guests.
Interesting.
Along with USA.
I'm glad for that.
Mexico, and I think it's Canada was the last team.
No.
Trinidad.
Oh yeah, Canada. Yeah, Canada are in it.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting. Outside of those 2, do you think there's anyone else with who might? Harry Kane.
Yeah. Harry Kane, definitely.
I don't know the last person to win a Ballon d'Or who hasn't won a club trophy in that particular year.
If he wins the Euros, if England win the Euros and he's top goal scorer at the Euros, he can do it, definitely.
Yeah.
He scores, 40 goals this season, 40 plus goals this season.
Yeah, the European Golden Boot.
Yeah.
So
he's in with the outside, definitely. But I think it's definitely between Vinicius and...
Yeah. If they're not 1 and 2 in whichever order, I'd be pretty surprised to be honest.
I think there's anyone else. Really, it'll just be
Yeah.
from a tournament. Really,
Yeah. That's pretty much in it. Like in a year of a major international tournament,
comes down to the
you've got
tournament.
to kind of do how well have you done in the tournament, and winning the Champions League never hurts your credentials.
Could
winning
it
that.
someone like Tony Kroos? If Germany do well, I think he's going to be his final.
Yeah.
Final. If Germany do really well or win it, I could see him definitely winning the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, or being in the mix.
Do you think Foden could creep in?
If they had won the Champions League, I think he would have to have an outstanding
In Euro,
tournament.
yeah. Like
outstanding. Like,
And I can't
six
dominating
man of
the
the matches
game.
out of 7 games, 4 goals minimum. Like,
And the thing
4
is,
assists.
if Foden wins it, then that means Jude and Harry have won it as well. So it's kind of, if Kane and Bellingham win it as well, I think.
yeah. But saying that, if England win it, I think it would be Jude, Phil, then Harry.
Yeah.
But doesn't it depend on performance?
Yeah, depending on how they.
Yeah,
but he's got the Premier League in it, so just based on because, like I say, they normally got to win something to.
I think
To only win an international tournament and get the Ballon d'Or would be
You can do
huge.
that. He's done it. Cannavaro done it. Won the World Cup, and that's what he won. And he won.
He didn't win nothing with his club.
No, it's literally because of that World Cup.
And then he went Madrid after, didn't he?
Yeah, you can
I
you
thought
can
he
win
might
it just from a tournament.
That's World Cup though, not Euros. We'll see. And then just to kind of round off the Real Madrid Champions League win, Ancelotti, best of the generation. In terms of managers, I'm putting him number 1.
What's that based on, though?
Yeah.
Is it purely based on achievement and numbers?
Yeah, pretty much. Like he's won a league in 5 leagues.
Mm-hmm.
He's won countless domestic trophies, and he's won 5 European Cups.
Let me pose it too different. Let me pose this question too differently then. If you had one game for your life, you needed to win this game, what manager would you want managing your team?
Can I pick a manager from an era, or does it just have to be?
No, any manager.
So if I could pick a manager from an era, I would pick Mourinho between 2004 2009.
But it's still a manager. So just any manager.
Yeah, it's any manager.
You make it complicated.
Yeah, exactly.
You make it.
What manager?
I just tried to add a little spin on it.
It's either Jose or Carlo.
Jose.
I'll pick Jose as well.
But I still think Ancelotti, what he's achieved, puts him. Because they're not the same. They're not the same.
You're just putting on numbers. I'm just saying, if I had one manager to win one game, I'm having Jose.
I'd pick Jose. But I think Ancelotti, even now, I think from now on, he'll start to get the plaudits. I think up until kind of last season, there was still a bit of question marks around his credibility. Like whenever people are doing like top 5 lists, and like we done it in our football WhatsApp group, he was never really 1 or 2. He was like like some people putting Klopp ahead of him, and I was like, I'm Klopp's my guy, but Klopp can't touch Carlo. You know what I mean?
But I think, is that based on a football print? So what like the idea that you're leaving on the pitch, what are you leaving as a legacy on the pitch? And I look at Alex Ferguson, he doesn't really get mentioned within look at the achievement, but in terms of an ideology of football, he doesn't get mentioned because
That's a great point. It's not a philosophy. It's not a
philosophy.
Like
not a
someone
culture.
like Pep, you know what a Pep team is. You know what a Mourinho team is.
Yeah.
What is an Ancelotti team? What is a Ferguson team?
But isn't that where they're showing their adaptability? They're like, give me a group of players, and I can
get the best out of them.
I can get the best out of this group. So it's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, innit? Like where Pep is like, I play this, you come in and play my system. Where I think Ancelotti goes in.
They're more adaptable. Okay, that in itself is a great quality for a manager.
Yeah. And then you look at Jose, and Jose's adaptable as well, because he's works with his players, and he don't go, all right, we're going to play 4-5-1. He goes to the team, all right, we're going to play 4-3-3, we're going to play 4-2-3-1, whatever suits the team, but he then implements tactics within that setup and whatever.
Yeah.
So I just think it's more about, we look at Jose as a tactical genius because of what tweaks he done and what he done with Porto and etc. And then we look at we don't like Sir Alex Ferguson. We look at his achievement, but then we don't look at him as a tactical genius. You understand?
Yeah.
Management genius.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe that's the same with Carlo Ancelotti. A man management, he's great and he gets the best out of the team.
Yeah.
But in terms of football ideals, you don't really see his philosophy on the pitch.
I agree with that. Yeah, Fergie and Ancelotti was pretty comparable in that. I agree with that. Both, you can't literally look at their CVs. You can't question either of them. But yeah, they do. They don't have that. I can see what your team is, what you're doing tactically.
Yeah.
They don't have that.
Yeah, they don't have like a set philosophy.
Because like yesterday, he never responded to it.
No.
Like he just put on a sub and
He didn't do anything. His team was getting totally outplayed, and then they said, "Oh, second half, I'm just gonna come out and do something different." They can't exactly
Nah,
the
they
same.
didn't. He's like, the man them will sort it, innit? Like they know, innit? Well, yeah, it was unlucky for Dortmund. I don't think many people kind of backed them to get through to the final. And they didn't disgrace themselves in the final. So yeah, big up Real Madrid. So yeah, we're just gonna go back a couple of weeks now. FA Cup final. Manchester United 2, Man City 1. Another one where pre-match they were like, Man United are gonna get smoked.
Yeah.
Man City double. Walk in the park. But Ten Hag, for all his criticism, came with a game plan that he's kind of started to implement towards the last couple games of the season and thrown it back. I don't know if you guys saw the highlights against the Wigan game. How they came away with a win, I have no idea because they got battered. But two counter-attack goals, they came away with a win. But you could kind of see what they were trying to do, etc. Like, I think Brighton just outplayed them on that day. And they came and stuck it on Man City.
Yeah.
Like 2-0 up at half time. Like Garnacho kind of capitalized on a mistake between Ortega and Vardiol. Open goal, 1-0. And you think, right, City are going to come out and do something now. But no, like...
no one turned up.
Yeah, and the second goal that Man United scored was really, really good. Like the switch from
brilliant goal.
Rashford to Garnacho.
It was Dallo with the switch.
Yeah. Oh, was it Dallo? I thought it was Rashford played it out. Like he played it to Dallo or Garnacho, or Dallo played the ball. I'm sure Rashford played it out wide.
It might be Rashford.
Yeah, I'm sure Rashford.
Dallo was involved.
Maybe I'm thinking
yeah. And then the ball played into Bruno, who like those deft touches.
That was brilliant. Brilliant.
For all his criticism that he gets, when he's on job, he's a very, very good player. Very good player. You can understand the criticism he gets because sometimes he goes, we know what you're... So what don't you get in terms of his criticism? Like,
he's their best player.
We're not denying that.
Yeah.
But he doesn't always show up. You know when they say come to work and be your best self? He's not always his best self when he shows up for work at Manchester United. That's the criticism I would level at him.
Okay, that's fair.
And you know what? When you was kind of giving your analogy, I was like, where are you going? I thought you said like, but I see what you're saying. Like he comes in grumpy. he gives away unnecessary free kicks.
Yeah, but that's just his personality.
I hear that, and then you're like, all right, for your level, you should be able to retain the ball. You just switched it 50 yards for no reason to no one. But then on the flip side of that, maybe his brain's working faster than everyone else.
And the frustration.
He gets frustrated. Yeah, he gets frustrated.
Then if he was in a City, an Arsenal, a Real Madrid, the players on that same wavelength would have been on it. And then he's looking amazing. So
yeah, okay, I get that. Anyway, it was a great pass to Kobbie Mainoo with a really good finish. It was interesting. I saw a couple of different commentaries on that, and Martin Tyler was doing it for like one of the World Services, and he said that Bruno actually miskicked it during the commentary. I was like, you can't, come on, man, you got to get that right. So yeah, they go in 2-0 up at half time, and again, analysis at half time is like, Man City, they kind of poked the bear. They're gonna come out and but fair play to them. They stay strong. I think it benefited them having Varane and Martinez back as their main centre backs, and that was a bit of a gripe from Ten Hag throughout the season, isn't it? He's saying, I haven't had my team. I haven't had my best team out. a couple months ago, he said, "I've only been able to play my best team once, etc." To be fair, you've got to be a bit adaptable in the manager.
It's
Like
reality.
it's very rare that any
You can have
manager
your
gets to
perfect
play
11.
gets to play perfect 11 week in, week out. But yeah, I thought those two had a really good game along with Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah.
But yeah, City did put a bit of pressure on. Haaland hit the crossbar, and then someone else missed a chance. I think it's Alvarez missed a good chance. And then Doku comes on as a sub, and Onana, who I thought had a really good game, to be honest.
He's awful, man.
No,
He's
he
not awful.
had a good game.
He's not awful.
He's not a good keeper, but
He's awful.
he had a good game up until
He's not awful.
He does that like every 2 weeks.
He's not awful.
He lets a goal like that in every 2 weeks.
I hear that, but he's not
Yeah,
awful.
he is terrible.
But yeah, with like 5 minutes to go, he let a shot from Doku kind of squirm under him, or even kind of pushed it into the goal. To be fair, I'll give him a bit of
He
grace.
does it all the time.
He pushed it into the goal, and you thought there might have been a bit of a siege at the end, and they might get a second goal. But they held out well. Like even Johnny Evans came on. I'm not sure if he came on for Varane or Martinez, but Johnny Evans came on, helped them see it out. It's interesting that in winning the FA Cup, he won every trophy for Manchester United in his 2 spells.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that was
I didn't
a bit of
know
a nice little touch for him, because I doubt he'll get an extension into next season. But
every trophy.
Yeah, every trophy.
I think he will.
You think he'll extend?
Who else they got right now?
No, buy someone.
But no, but as cover, he's going to stay as a cover.
He might. Yeah, he could stay,
as cover.
Yeah, because Varane's leaving.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he could
stay as cover.
So was Pep out masterclass, or was it just a bad day at the office for City?
I think City complacency. I think they believed the hype. Everyone was saying, like you said, 2, 3, 4, 5-0, just how many. And it seems like the players thought that they went on the pitch, just thought that we should turn up. We're going to turn up and win. And I think they believed the hype a little bit. Man United, full credit to them, took full advantage, played really well on the day, thoroughly deserved the win. Were a much better team. And with City, once you start slowly like that, it's hard to just flick the gear. Yeah, it's hard to do it. And Man United, they're a big team. Some of them players are big players. Them players that you talk about, Martinez, Varane, they've
been around, innit?
Champions Leagues and stuff like that. So they're not going to be intimidated.
Yeah.
So they came on, they performed. So props to Man United and also Ten Hag, because he got the tactics spot on as well.
And I think there's an element where Pep made it a little bit easy because he didn't start Doku. And one thing you hate defending against his pace. And instantly he changed the game when he came on. Like, he just brought it to Wan-Bissaka and that side.
Well, we've mentioned this before, a bit of a lack of consistency from Doku, especially the last kind of, say, 4 months or so. You know what he can do. He does that little shimmy. Like, that's how he scored the goal, innit? Shimmy, pushed it out wide to the right, cut in and shot and scored. Jack Grealish didn't touch the pitch. You don't know if he was injured or...
No, he's not injured. He's not injured. He's in the England squad. He's not injured.
He might have had a niggle or something.
No, he hasn't played for the last 3 months. Nothing wrong with him.
Do you think I don't want to say do you think his time is up, because I don't think he'll get sold this summer, but do you think he'll struggle to see minutes next season, or do you think it might be a case of like, kind of happened with Sterling, like we said it happened with Silva, there'll be times where you're just not Pep's favourite at the minute, and then you can do what's necessary to get back in?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Pep likes to, one season you're in, one season you're out. It's that sort of flavour of the month thing. Because he even done it with like Mahrez. There was one season when Mahrez was always sub. Yeah, you're like, what's going on? Like, he does that. But it's interesting that Grealish and Doku were sub, because you thought that the left side was out one of them two.
Yeah.
And then neither of them have got it. And in terms of, they've won, the last 10 Premier League games straight or something. So I don't think Doku was ever going to start, because who you taking out of that 11 that's done so well for you and won you the league, won the last 10 games. So I don't think that was ever a possibility, really, in the front line.
Yeah. And then the small elephant in the room, Haaland and KDB in big games for Man City. don't seem to show up. The narrative going around. So yeah, KDB was withdrawn in the second half. Haaland didn't score in another semi-final or final for Man City. Is that something they should be worried about, or as long as others can potentially step up? Obviously, because they won the treble last year, so it wasn't much of a concern.
For me, it shouldn't be a concern. Because I think them being on their presence on the pitch alone, and like we said, Haaland hit the crossbar, even though that's quote unquote off target, hit the crossbar. I just think because KDB in games before has turned up and made a match-winning pass or scored a match-winning goal, so we can't say that he's missing because in the semi-final he got them to the final and whatever else he's done, throughout his time at City. So I just think we're just in that era where we're looking for perfection from every player, every minute, and it's like, come on, like, guy, if they haven't won anything and it's every final that they're losing, then yeah, that's something to be concerned about. It's just one game.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Totally
I think
agree.
It's a major issue, to be honest. So yeah, just a quick one on Ten Hag then. So there was strong rumours before the final that it would be his last game in charge. Since they've won it, those kind of rumours seem to have died down a little bit. Do you think it's giving him a little bit of a stay of execution?
I don't know. I do agree that I think the plan was to sack him after the game, expecting that they would lose.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Because they've won, and in the fashion that they won, I think they've had to take a step back and think this won't look good if we sack him right now. So I reckon they're waiting for it to die down a bit, but it's a possibility he could stay. I don't know what. It's just gone totally quiet. Now you don't know what's going on.
But if he stays, in a case of like back him, obviously Ineos in now, they're the overseeing football side of things. If he stays, do you think they still need to spend a bit of money, to be fair? Like, they got issues at left back. I know Shaw's in the England squad, might go to the Euros, but fitness-wise, you can't really trust him. Who's the other guy? Malacia. He's been out injured majority of the season, so I think they need to buy a left back regardless. I think they need to buy a centre back.
Couple centre backs.
Yeah, a couple centre backs. Midfield, I think Casemiro might need replacing.
No, they need midfielders as well.
Yeah, so it's a big job. Need
they need midfielder because you've got Eriksen and Casemiro. Yeah, you need.
It's a big job. It's a big job.
Yeah, apparently, Casemiro didn't want to be on the bench in the cup final. So that's why he wasn't in the squad. So, whoever. So whether it's Ten Hag or new manager, I think they need to spend some money wisely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, you have to back him. If you're going to keep him, then there's no other option but to back him. So they got to make the decision now. If he's going to be their man, then make him. There's no point in them keeping him for another 6 months and then sacking him.
Yeah.
It don't make sense. So you might as well either
do it now.
Make the decision now to sack him, so then you give the new manager all the funds and the whole summer, or you say, Ten Hag's our guy for the next X amount of years, let's fully back him.
Yeah, and they're in the Europa League, and that's a competition that they could potentially win.
Yeah.
So, yeah, why not? Why not back him? So, yeah, well done, Man United. Europa League final. I'm going to say this is a bit of a shock with Atalanta beating Leverkusen. Just because of the way that Leverkusen have been playing, always getting over the line.
Yeah.
Like, there was a few kind of games where their unbeaten record was in jeopardy.
Yeah.
But they got over the line with like 91st minute winners, 92nd minute equalizers. But Atalanta turned up and we're like, we don't care about your record. One-off game. Lookman turned up. I said, Lookman.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
What a performance.
Yeah. And it was the whole team. Like, obviously, Lookman will kind of get the plaudits, but Scamacca played well, few other players, and it's just like, it's the first time you've kind of seen Alonso being like, "Oh, I don't know what to do here," and even the players as well, like the Frimpong's, the Wirtz, like Xhaka. I wouldn't say they had stage fright, but it was just kind of like,
it was a new tactical game that they had to adjust.
Yeah, and like they didn't know what to do, like a bit of like deer in headlight kind of thing.
What that manager, I forgot his name now, what he's done, he had his players picking up really like halfway positions in between the fullback or in between the centre mid and centre backs and in between the fullback and the centre back.
Yeah.
Like it was really, really good movement by Atalanta team. And it's thrown a lot of teams off how he plays that formation.
Yeah. And they shown it like they came to Anfield
Yeah, I think
Had a-
Liverpool
had a game plan.
suffered the same way, yeah.
and kind of left with like a 3-0 victory. I thought Leverkusen might have done a job just based on how Liverpool played in the away leg. Like they won 1-0, but they had a lot of chances, could have scored more than the one that they did. But yeah, I think it's like a real testament to Atalanta. They've kind of been in and around the European places, Champions League, Europa League for like the last kind of 5 or 6 years. And yeah, they just seem to be like an established Italian European team now, where they weren't really kind of like 10 years ago. You didn't really know much about them. After the game, Peter Crouch was on analysis for TNT, and he came out and said, if Lookman had waited, he'd be playing for England now.
No.
And I kind of heard that, and I was like, this is kind of the whole British mentality of we are better than the rest
and we got the pickings of the best.
kind of thing. Where if Crouch had kind of done his research, he would have seen that Lookman was like, right, I'm going to kind of commit to Nigeria pretty early. I'm not saying he didn't play for England at youth level, because obviously he grew up here, and that's kind of the system. It's very rare that you'll find someone who's born here will play for their parents or grandparents' birth nation at youth level. Very rare. So I understand that, but he committed to Nigeria very, very early.
Good move.
And I guess, I don't like that narrative.
Yeah, it was ignorant.
Yeah.
It was.
I don't think it was like meant maliciously. I don't think it was intentional.
But it was ignorant. And it's arrogant. No, because just to sit there, maybe who is he going to get in front of? Like, let's be real.
He wouldn't have been playing for England.
And that was the issue in the past, weren't it? When England and other nations would pick all the best players so they couldn't get a cap for another country, and then they've changed the rules now. So now that even if they played for England once, then now they can play for their other nation. And I hope that other players, and you're seeing it a lot more now, are saying, you know what, I'm not going to wait for England. I'm going to go play for Ireland, Scotland, Jamaica, USA, whoever, to get their international chances. Because if you're going to sit there and wait on England, imagine if he sat there and waited on England, Cole Palmer just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, ahead of him. Yeah.
Ahead of him. Instantly ahead of him.
He's been playing 13 football for what? 5-6 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he been at Atlanta 2 years. He was at Leipzig before then. Leicester, Fulham.
Yeah.
It would have been
Everton, Charlton, yeah.
Nowhere near England. I'm surprised. I'm surprised Crouch even said that. It might have been prisoner of the moment thing.
But probably.
Yeah, if he didn't score all them goals in the final, he wouldn't have said that. He's just
and that's why I said it's arrogance and ignorance and a bit of that kind of. Anyway, that's another story. But that kind of mindset, we can have the pickings of the best, or he should have waited. Why should he wait? Who's he waiting for?
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, I totally agree.
That's like Damari Gray. Like, I give him credit, it's another player, but he said, I'm not waiting for you. Omari Hutchinson's gone Jamaica now. They're playing in the Copa America.
Yeah, been called up to the squad, hasn't he?
Imagine if Omari Hutchinson was going to sit there and wait for England on that dream.
Yeah, he'd have to wait for not even the World Cup cycle, like the next Euro cycle.
Yeah.
Which is like 4 years away. Because obviously you've got to, mainly for the England team, you've got to produce it in the Premier League consistently for at least 1 year, kind of the whole Cole Palmer.
How old is Hutchinson now?
I think he's 22, 23.
Because I feel like he's got time on his side. I think he might have been gone a bit early.
No, I don't think he's got
If you've got time on your side.
If you think about where he plays as well, you've got to wait for...
But sometimes you got to back yourself. If you feel you've got that quality and that potential...
He's 20.
He's 20, see? So he's
got time.
No, but that's the same age. That's Bellingham's age, that's Palmer's age. And you got...
If you said the next Euro cycle, he's 24 years old, I think he's got time on his side. If you feel you've got that quality, if you look at Palmer, it only takes one good Premier League season and you're in.
Yeah, it does, but that one good season's got to be one at the right club.
Yeah.
You've got to have the right manager in the England setup to want to pick you.
Yeah.
And you've got to... And I think with Palmer, I think he's had an advantage where your Sterlings, your Rashfords,
Didn't turn up.
Sanchos. Yeah, like you said, they didn't turn up. Like they're not. They weren't really his competition where they would have been 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like
Football
I think
changes really quickly. Football changes. What it may look like today in a year's time, looks totally different.
Yeah, it does.
So
it'd be interesting to see. Like I think Hutchinson's a really good player,
mm.
but I don't know if he will produce the goods
At that level.
to get him into an England team.
To get him into Chelsea's team.
He probably won't, but I'm just saying from his perspective, he should, if he got that confidence, he should then wait until he's actually played first team football for a long time before committing. It's just a thought.
But then if someone dangles a carrot of Copa America at you at 20 years old,
playing against
Neymar
and
I get it.
Vinicius and
I get it.
Yeah, I'm going Jamaica.
To play 3 games in the Copa America
and play other international games. I'm going Jamaica. I'm going Barbados.
And if you think about it, if you look at the Jamaica squad, it's getting better.
Yeah, no, it's better.
It's getting better.
Yeah, but they're not 20.
No, but what's happening? You're getting
the
a lot
players
more,
in there.
Yeah, no, but you'll get more players saying, you know what? I'm not waiting on England. I'm not waiting on Scotland. I'm not waiting on this.
No, I totally agree. Players should do that. But what I'm saying is that if you've got aspirations of going to the top, like someone like Hutchinson, he's been at Arsenal, he's at Chelsea now. If you've got aspirations to get into that level, I'm just saying, why would you cut down your options so early?
Yeah, I think it's tough, man. Like, he's 20, innit?
Yeah.
Playing in the Champions.
That's nothing, no, that's no age.
No, but now it is. Now it's
Saka, Foden, Bellingham.
No, but
like 20
that's
is not young anymore.
That's the top of the top.
But that's who he's competing with. But that's who he's competing with.
But he's got time. He's not
at 20 years old now.
He's 5.
You've got to
Hold on. We're forgetting about one second. Mason Greenwood.
He hasn't even played no, Greenwood's. Yeah, but he won't be competing with England.
No, he might do, brother.
No,
when it comes to
he's going to Jamaica.
He's going to Jamaica.
Yeah,
cool up.
Yeah, I don't blame him either.
But that's the level, though, innit? Like at 20 years old, you've got to be on a Palmer, Foden, Bellingham, and he's like 2 or 3 years off that.
But he hasn't had the chance yet, though. That's what I'm saying. He needs the chance first. He needs to play a full season in the Premier League first.
Yeah. Well, it might be next season.
Chance. Yeah. Do you think he's going to stay? Do you think Ipswich will get him back, or what do you think's going to happen with him?
I think he needs to
go back to Ipswich.
Either go back to Ipswich or go to another Premiership team next season and play minimum 20, 25.
So don't stay at Chelsea.
No, he can stay at Chelsea, but he's got to get the minutes.
Games at Chelsea.
You never know. Like, we'll come on to Chelsea in the new management, but new manager might want to. I think if Poch was there, I would say no. He's not getting no minutes. New manager Maresca, he might get minutes. So that's a conversation you need to have after the Copa America. But I would put faith in McKenna.
What other Premier League team could he go to apart from Ipswich?
Any of the ones that come up, Everton, he can go to.
Everton.
Yeah.
No.
On loan.
He's not Everton. What minutes did he get Everton?
More than Chelsea.
He's not a Daesh player, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he's not that. Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest.
No, they've got Hudson-Odoi and
but he can get minutes there.
I'm trying to think. Bournemouth, maybe.
Bournemouth, they got some good wingers as well.
But if you get minutes, though, it's about getting minutes.
Throw this back at you. We're suggesting teams you could go to.
Yeah.
And you're saying no. But you could be playing for England.
No, but you told me.
Make it make sense.
No, but you told me that he needs 20 games. You're saying he needs 20 games. I think you should go Ipswich. That's what I'm saying. That's my whole point was, that's what I said. What other clubs can go to apart from Ipswich? I don't think there's any. You should be Ipswich.
So who came up? Ipswich, Leicester, and
Southampton. Yeah. Well, you could go Southampton, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, I think it's those 3. Yeah. Go to those 3, show what you can do, and see if someone might pick you up in it.
No, but then if he goes and performs, then the season after next, or he then should be looking to break into Chelsea.
So like Gallagher kind of, when he went to Palace.
So then, and then where's Gallagher now?
England.
Thank you. Point made.
No, it's not made.
It is made because 3 years ago, no one been calling Conor Gallagher for England. No one would have said that.
Going back to
it's the full position though. Look,
there's
Conor
no centre midfielders in it. Any English player that was half decent in midfield this year was going to the Euros.
Yeah, centre midfielders.
What? Barkley? Is he going?
No, but
No, but you got like top club.
that's
Curtis
a choice.
Curtis Jones is there. Like I was saying, that position, your options are wider in it.
So you guys are more looking at the competition.
Yeah.
But then,
Financial,
all right, I get that. But the competition does change, as you've seen with the Rashford.
Yeah.
2 years ago, you would never have thought Rashford's not going to be in the England squad. So that can change very quickly, that picture.
Yeah, very true. Very true. So yeah, that was a bit of a segue from the Europa League final.
Yeah.
But going back, Bayer Leverkusen, they won the German Cup, so they ended up with a domestic double. Only
then
lost one game all season. First game
Incredible.
they lost was a cup final. Bit of a kick in the teeth, but you can't fault them, man. Like that's an incredible achievement.
Yeah.
Regardless,
What a season!
Big up Alonso. I said on here like a couple episodes ago, I hope that most of the players stay
I don't think they're going to go now.
and give it a shot in the Champions League. I think Frimpong and Wirtz are the two that are kind of people are kind of vulturing around. But I'd like to see them just give it one more year in it with Alonso in the Champions League, see if they can defend the league title, and let's see what happens. But you never know. Money talks, man.
I think
a big offer comes in.
True, yeah, but I think there's also a legacy thing, and I think what's working in favour for Leverkusen at the moment is Barca's not the financial powerhouse that they once were. So, but no, Barcelona.
We need to come in and buy players. Sorry.
And buying at the moment, they're going through a change, and big up company. But again, do I want to work under a new manager? And this club's going through a transition right now where Leverkusen everything's settled at the moment. So,
yeah.
I think they got them for another season.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. And if Alonso could replicate like another league win, a good European campaign, whether he does end up at Real Madrid, like there's kind of talk that Ancelotti leaves at the end of next season. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see where that goes. Conference League final. We won't spend much time on this because I don't think I've seen a worse final in all my years, especially a European final. There was that 0-0 Champions League final a few years ago, or that ended up 0-0. But Olympiacos won, Fiorentina 0. Al Kabi scored in the 116th minute. I felt a bit cheated when you watch a game that bad. You kind of hope it goes to penalties. And I just, when he scored, man, I was like, never been so disappointed that a goal was going in. I was like, just give me penalties in it, like some excitement after sitting through this for 120 minutes. But yeah, Olympiacos become the first Greek team to win a European trophy, and their owner is the same guy that owns Nottingham Forest. So yeah, that was that's all to be said on that one. We'll just round it off with the playoff final. So it's billed as the richest game in football. Southampton won, Leeds 0. We kind of had a chat about this beforehand. We kind of thought it was like a real 50-50, just based on kind of how the end of the championship season played out. And even the semi-finals, like both games were draws in the first leg, and then Southampton, Leeds respectively beat their teams quite comfortably in the second leg. I didn't know how to call it. But Southampton won. Armstrong scored. I think, like you said, Dad, it would have been nice if there was a new team to come up. I know we got Ipswich, but another new team. Not that Ipswich haven't been in the Premiership, but they haven't been in the Premiership for, I think it's 20 odd years. Both these teams went down last season. Would have been nice if a new team come back up. But it's Southampton. Do you think the three teams that come up, and obviously we're going to touch on Leicester with their manager leaving, Ipswich with McKenna, lot of praise around him. Southampton, Russell Martin, manager. Do you think these three teams are better equipped than three teams that have just gone down?
Yeah, definitely. I think you see the teams now, and I think next season it's a stronger Premier League. This year we had one or two teams that they weren't at the races. Some of the Sheffield Uniteds and stuff like that. They were bankers. It was just silly. So I believe these teams are going to be competitive. Well, Ipswich is the unknown.
Yeah.
But I expect Southampton and Leicester to be competitive. Obviously, Leicester, I'll expect to be very competitive, but not losing their manager, that makes a bit
and
of a question
they have
mark.
got PSR lingering.
Yeah,
over there.
well, there was rumours that they're going to be coming with a points deduction.
Yeah.
That they couldn't get them because they were in the Championship, but
Yeah.
then now they come back to the Premier League.
They're gonna
They're
get
back
stung.
under the jurisdiction where they can penalise them. But yeah, looking at it, it does look like it's a stronger Premier League next season, which is good, which is what you want. You don't want to look at the league and think, oh, these
That's
two
a-
teams,
that's a-
these
that's
two
a
or three
win.
teams are definitely going down.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, there's a tweet from Manchester City saying congratulations to Leicester, Southampton and Ipswich. And then people replying, oh, that's a guaranteed 18 points for Man City next season. What about you, Adrian? You think they'll be competitive, or
I think the
is there
problem.
anyone in the Premier League now who you're maybe worried about next season?
I think the teams that currently in the Premier League now that may be flirting with relegation, I would say definitely depends on who Everton sign because they haven't got goal scorers at the moment.
Everton.
It depends. Even though they put in a good form, but they haven't got goal scorers, and even they're under the scrutiny as well.
Yeah.
Again, so they might have to lose a couple of players.
And their, sorry to interject, their takeover bid from 777 is dead in the water now.
Yeah.
So they need to find new investment.
But they done really well this season. If you take away their points deduction, I think they come about 13th or 12th or something like that.
And I hear that, but I think you got to remember, like, and what Keith was just saying as well is about the PSR and that coming into play and how that impacts on them. So they're saying they have to get rid of players because then the investment's falling flat, etc., etc. I think
They get a new stadium. New stadium opens end of the year.
So it's be ready for next season. So not the season coming.
Oh, okay.
The season
I thought it's
after.
coming halfway through the season. Okay, that's fine.
I might do.
and then again, we don't know what Nottingham Forest and then Wolves.
Yeah, Forest.
Again, Wolves weren't scoring a lot of goals, so those are they got enough, but those are the ones that are at risk for me.
Not like a Bournemouth.
I think.
Well, I
It
think
looked like
Iriola's
I think
got
he's turned
them
that
settled.
project around. I
Yeah, I
think.
think he's got them settled.
I think he's turned. But I think Wolves, because Wolves weren't again. I think they lost 13 or they low their last few games.
Wolves
What
lost
about
18.
Brentford?
You know what I'm going to say? And it might sound a bit
Go on.
left field, Brighton. Just with a new manager coming in.
Wow.
I don't
Talent.
know where they're
Yeah.
don't know where they're going. Because I was there saying, if they were flirting at the next season, I wouldn't be surprised.
So we've got Brentford.
I think Brentford, I think
Brighton.
their manager might leave soon. Thomas Frank. I think he might leave soon.
Yeah,
He's getting mentioned with a lot of jobs, and I think he's a good manager.
And I think it's only so long you can keep on doing that diamond in the rough.
yeah.
You can only find so many diamonds in the rough, like,
Yeah.
and you get away with it. And like you saw that last season where they just dropped off, like the Raya going out on loan, Ivan Toney being
Yeah.
suspended, and then a few injuries. They were pretty much
Yeah, you can't buy small, sell big consistently, and it always works.
and that's why I
Yeah,
understand why you said
yeah.
Brighton,
Yeah,
because you can't keep on buying small and then selling them big, and that next player that you bring in is quality. Because sorry, he's on my agenda, he's on my radar. Is it Baliba? For Brighton.
Oh, the midfielder.
Midfielder.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and the reason why
He's
also
painful
why
to
I said
watch.
Brighton is because I know it's been like 2 weeks, but when they knew Potter was leaving, like the Derby was
Straight in.
there in it, like you knew, and it's very rare because like John speaks of Brighton setup and their spreadsheet, and they know
Yeah.
what's coming on next. There's been no rumours around a new Brighton manager, which
You
I
think
found
You
quite
think that
surprising.
caught them a little bit
So-
on the wares? The Zerbi going. You think they wasn't expecting
Yeah,
it?
possibly. But yeah, we'll come on to the managerial kind of moving
Can I
parts.
just quick word before we go? What about Leeds? Are we worried about them now? Because they're a big club, and to now have another season in the Championship, is it a possibility that they're going to start losing some players now? Obviously, parachute payments. Is it a case now we might not see Leeds in the Premier League for the next few years?
Yeah, possibly.
The Championship is like that. You get stuck in the Championship.
Yeah, you start there.
You start falling down the
yeah.
Championship.
It's hard to come out.
It gets harder, yeah.
I think if they can, so I think Somerville might go. I think he's good enough to go. Potentially Nonto. I think if they can keep like the Bamfords, the Ampadus.
But they weren't really playing Bamford, was they?
No, but he's that level.
He's
innit?
he's
he's
get goals
he's
there.
that level. Like if he
Yeah.
comes back fit, And who's the other guy from Man United? James.
Yeah.
I think if they kind of keep those kind of players, I think they'll be all right. And it's like the league was so tight, like they could have gone up automatically, innit? Like we saw Leicester nearly threw it away. Ipswich capitalised on Leicester, Leeds, and Southampton not picking up points when we thought they would have. So yeah, but if they don't get up next year, and who's come down? Sheffield United, Burnley,
and Luton.
I think Luton keep Rob Edwards. I think they're going to be in the mix, providing they can replace Barkley and Townsend with a championship equivalent. Someone coming in and do a job. Burnley depends on who they get as their manager. We'll come to that. And then Sheffield United, Wilder knows the championship, innit?
Yeah.
Like, that's why they got Wilder in, because they knew they were getting relegated.
They got a squad of championship players anyway, So they should be at the three. They'll probably be good, the best in the championship at the three, because they basically got that team.
So one of those and even Norwich. I know they replaced Farker. Is it Farker? No, or Wagner. Wagner.
Yeah.
Farker's at Leeds, innit? So Norwich are always there in the mix, innit? So it's good. You know I love the championship. But yeah, big up Southampton for getting promoted. As we kind of alluded to, there's been a few managerial changes over the last couple of weeks. So we'll kind of do it in some kind of order of what happened. So the day before the last game of the Premier League, De Zerbi announced that he was parting ways with Brighton. They said it was a mutual consent. It's kind of been muted that De Zerbi wanted to have a bit more say in the transfer policy, and we know kind of Brighton working a model of we identify a player, we parachute them in, and then the coach kind of deals with them. Outside of like the pod group, John said, "Well, you know what you're signing up for. Like that was your
that's your remit at the time. Yeah,
that was your
that's
remit.
the conditions of your contract."
And a couple of us pushed back and said, "Well, when you signed the contract, you were happy with that, but we've come to the end of the season. Let's have a review. Let's have a review in it. Like, let's see."
It's interesting John said that, because we had this same discussion about Poch, and he was on a thing of you could change your mind. So, but I agree with his first statement. I thought, if that's what you signed, that's the contract. So why are we reviewing it? What are we reviewing? It's going well.
Yeah.
Okay, so this season wasn't as well as
the season before.
The season that he started.
Yeah.
So you could say, okay, it worked when I came in mid-season. I didn't really have a January transfer window. I can't really sign middle of last season. But we've had the summer transfer window. We've got these players now. We've got a couple players.
Never been up to scratch.
We haven't done as well as I would have hoped, and I'm sure you haven't hoped. Why don't we review whether I can send a couple man out and identify a few players and have a bit of a balance? So you're just saying no. This is what you signed up for. Stick to it.
No, this is the club philosophy. We've been doing this very successfully for a very long time. Why are we going to change for you?
But wouldn't you back someone who's shown that they can push you forward? Like
he hasn't shown me that he hasn't shown me that he can buy players. Yeah, with my players that I bought. So why would I to him? He got us to Europe. Well, the players that I identified got us to Europe. So,
but if he could, I'm not saying give him total autonomy on who comes in, but if he can say, right, I can. If you give me 3, I want 1, or give me 1 or 2. I can complement, and we can do this collaboratively.
No, that's not what I signed you up for.
Yeah,
so
you got a job description. This is what the job that I wanted you to do. That's it.
And it's that thing. And if you got a philosophy and a vision, you got to stick to it. Like, because if the moment you start keep on changing it, then you lose it, and then you're gonna revert back to it. And then you say, I should just stuck my guns. The one thing data can't show you is the variable. It can't calculate homesickness. How you relate to the weather, the location. It can't account for that.
And like family issues and stuff like things that happen.
Data don't capture that. And maybe that's what they're just in that midst of, where the players that they brought in are not ready this season, but they might be ready next season. But they have to stick to it, because if they don't stick to it, they'll just be changing their philosophy, their formation, the infrastructure of the club every season.
You're,
So
you're totally right. Say you said yes to him this year, you have a decent year, and then the year after you come back, okay, now I want to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. Or he's like, I want to go, but you got rid of your whole
Yeah,
structure.
exactly.
I want to go.
You left
And you
got
left with
players.
his
got-
players.
I'm
Or
just
he
asking the
ups and
question.
leaves. They do really well ups and leaves like Potter. Yeah.
I'm just
So to
asking
go
the
to the
question.
first job, that comes to him now, man.
Yeah.
That they're well within their rights. And to be fair, I think he's got too big for his boots. He should be knuckling down and being like, I was poor this season.
And then we should
And he
Yeah.
should be
Let me
like,
prove
I need,
myself.
yeah. Because now
Yeah.
you're leaving when your stock, for
Stock
me, his
was
stock's low.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, I've
it
heard
has
him,
dipped a bit.
I've seen him being linked with some good jobs. I'm thinking, why? What has he done?
Well, it's good you say that, but I'm gonna come back to that. So as I said, I'm surprised no one's been linked with the Brighton job because they're pretty good at kind of replacing managers pretty quickly. They've done it with like when Potter came in and then De Zerbi. So yeah, I'm surprised no one's been been linked with that job yet. But I'm sure they'll get that sorted. Then we found out Potter was leaving Chelsea. I'm gonna say I was a little bit shocked just because of how well they played the back end, say like the last 6 games of the season. They snuck into Europe, which I think was good for them considering how they performed throughout the duration of the season. So before we got into Maresca, any surprises that they parted ways?
For me, no. Because I think as the owner, I think he was looking at it, and as all the fans and the pundits, you got a £1 billion squad, and this is what you're producing with this squad. Because some of the football was bad. Sometimes they looked all over the place. It wasn't convincing in a lot of games. Some of the games, we're saying they had a good run, but actually, when you look at the results, a lot of them going to do like 3-2, 2-1. Like they weren't a clear, controlled, dominant performance from in a lot of those games. So I think they're saying we've invested in you. You've got a great squad to work with, and you're not producing the football that we want to see. So I wasn't surprised.
So what, do you think it was performance-based then?
I think there's elements
Because
of
they came
performance.
6th.
Yeah, they did come 6th, but I think it's all of it plays its part in it. Like you can come 6th. Was it a convincing 6th? You battled on the way in, and as a result of Man United dropping off and other, you crept in through the back door. You weren't actually you.
Yeah, they shouldn't have got 6 basically.
But was it, I see this similar to the Brighton situation. Didn't he go in there asking for more say, etc.?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
And I think
And they turned around and said, no, see you later.
I think he done that because apparently of all the signings, Palmer was his choice.
Oh, okay.
So I've heard that he's gone in there and been like, look, I know I was given all these players, but the one that I picked is the star boy of the team, innit? Like, come on, let me. And I think as well, where he wasn't backed really at Tottenham, I think he wanted to be kind of like back me in it. Like, I'm a good manager, get the players in. But as you said, if you sign up to something, it's very hard to change the terms and conditions.
A year later.
Halfway through.
And what have you done? You've done nothing. If you maybe won a trophy or 2 or something, then I can then see you going into the office and making a play.
Yeah.
But you've done nothing.
Yeah.
But he was close to winning the League Cup. So
Well, League Cup.
no, but it's still a trophy, innit?
And I
a
think
trophy, the trophy.
a big thing for them as well is getting knocked down into Conference League as well. I think that's a big, huge knock because they actually made Europa.
Yeah.
But then when Man United won the FA Cup, it knocked them down into Conference.
Yeah.
And that's a big, Europa to Conference is a big difference.
Yeah, and
But
not
for
Newcastle.
a team like Chelsea to be in Conference League.
But I think with all their players, the young players as well, I think it might be good for them to give those kind of fringy players.
But isn't that too low? Like you would do that in Europa, and you'd be like, "Oh, I can get to see these." But now they're gonna be playing. They might as well go and play League One teams if they're in Conference League.
Like, if you can get a trophy. It's a trophy.
It's a
man.
trophy. It's a
It's
trophy.
the last trophy Mourinho won. Like, it's a good trophy,
It's a
man.
trophy.
Yeah,
It's
a good trophy.
It's all right trophy. It's all
West
right
Ham
trophy.
won it. It's a good trophy. Yeah.
It's a good trophy, man. So Poch out, Maresca in. Any surprises there?
I don't really know too much about him. I know he's from the Pep stable.
Yeah. Same. That's it. I know. That's it.
He
Yeah.
used to be
So-
his assistant.
He
To be fair,
dominated the championship from like September to like
March,
March.
wasn't it? And then they had a big
and then they had a drop off. And like I said in the group, my only concern was he didn't show how adaptable he was when they had a bad run in the Championship. I'm not saying that he's not adaptable.
Yeah.
He might have just been like, well, we've got such a big lead. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't really have to adapt too much.
We'll pick back up again.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, you're confident in his squad. Like, they essentially got a Premier League team in the Championship.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to kind of use that as a stick to beat him with.
They played against Chelsea in the FA Cup as well, didn't they?
Yeah, and they
and they dominated them in that game.
Yeah, they lost, didn't they?
Yeah.
But they
were a better
dominated
team.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did. They played really well. So I think it's quite a good gamble, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like you say, he's come from the school of Pep.
Expectations of the fans is quite low, in the sense of,
You think?
and when I mean low, in the sense of they know they're on a rebuild.
Yeah.
So they're not expecting a Premier League title, FA Cup, European.
They want to see progress.
They
Yeah,
wanna
they
see
want to see a
progress
style
now.
of play.
They want to see a style of play. So that's what I mean by low.
But
Like,
one thing that's really, really I'm looking at is the qualifications for managers now for these jobs. All right, he just won the Championship with Leicester. As you said, Leicester probably had the best team in the Championship, so they're probably expected to win it. How does that then qualify them to get the Chelsea job?
But
Is
style
there
of,
not-
style of play, though,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's what I think.
Yeah.
Like, managers now are being, it's literally, if you've got a philosophy that clubs are buying into now, it's not so much.
Yeah, it's
It's
definitely
not
a shift.
so much results no more. It's that literally, I do X, Y, and Z. We'll come on to another manager. I'm sure we're going to come
Yeah,
on to
he's next.
company
Yeah.
that had 0 results, but he's then got a massive job. So it's crazy now. You can just go in, and as long as you're working out's good, it doesn't really matter about the result anymore. It's
Yeah.
funny. It's funny that clubs are just looking at what you're doing tactically, but not actually the final end, whether that's making the final end product. Which is
but then is
interesting.
it not like what we do as fans? Like, we'll look at a player and say, in Arsenal, with that service, he's going to get 50 goals.
Yeah.
So just for a manager, well, this formation he's playing with the better
Better
intelligent players
players.
and tactics. Oh, he could be, and then you got to remember now, Xabi Alonso is opened the door for that.
Yeah.
He's opened the door for that. What, 60 odd games undefeated before
Yeah.
he lost his first game? Do you
Yeah,
understand?
yeah.
So he's opened the door for that. He's gone to the board in the meeting, and so has Arteta. This is the philosophy I have. This is the 5-year plan that I've got.
Yeah. And you could say it's less risky than when Arteta got the Arsenal job.
I'm just saying about that. I'm sure there's a lot of other managers out there who are more qualified for the job than Maresca. They're being overlooked. There's managers in the Premier League
Yeah. So
that
this
are doing good jobs and they're not.
So this comes back to the point I was
Yeah.
going to make when you mentioned Thomas Frank earlier. So
Mm.
we'll move on to company going to Bayern Munich
Yeah.
from Burnley. And the point I was going to make was what you just said. There are managers in the Premier League
Mm.
who have shown more kind of tactical astuteness
Yeah.
than company that were overlooked for many jobs. You could even say the Bayern job. So
Yeah.
you could look at
Yeah.
Thomas Frank, even Iraola. He's come
Yeah.
in, started badly in the Premier League, as badly as Burnley,
Yeah.
but he was like, I need to do this. I
Yeah.
need to move these parts. Ended up just shy of the top half. So the question kind of was, even though everyone said company's got this philosophy that we've seen for the last 2 years, worked well in some instances, not so well in the Premier League. Why do you think it was him and not kind of the Thomas Frank or Iraola? I mean, no, he wasn't first choice, so kind of put that aside. But why do you think when they went down the scale,
20th space.
why do you think they skipped over Iraola, Frank, De Zerbi? Why do you think
Is
that's
it the name? Is it the name? Is that because he had the
There's
playing
two.
career and he's got the name?
Yeah, I think so as well.
I think it plays part of it. And then we haven't been able to, we haven't actually studied the job that he done at Anderlecht. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think he won anything at
But it's
Anderlecht,
not that what he won, but we haven't looked at what did he do, and then who did he get the attention of for what he done at Anderlecht. You understand what I'm saying? Because remember, if you look at
do you think Bayern Munich were looking at what they did and they wouldn't have been.
no, but if
I
there's
think they
certain
might have to
directors
go
of
back a bit,
football,
though.
if there's certain directors of football, scouts, etc., and they're talking. Remember, Arsenal signed Lukonga based on his recommendation.
Yeah, look how that worked out.
But I'm not disputing that. But what I'm highlighting is when you start rubbing shoulders with the right people, you can make recommendations for someone. And we're saying that, but Lokonga at Palace and Luton, with consistent minutes, he started showing that he can play at that level. I'm not saying he's great, but he was showing that he can play at that level. And actually, he's a decent squad guy.
Not for Arsenal.
Well, right now he would be because we've got those other centre midfielders.
So on Company, are you happy he's gone there? There's been a bit of discourse in our group chat about whether he should have been given the chance or not. What are your thoughts on it?
For me, I'm happy he's gone there. I think it just shows that in any match, like we're seeing what's going on. If you've got a philosophy and a structure and a vision that what can be, I think Bayern Munich, even though he might not have been first or third or fourth choice, Bayern Munich's going through a transition right now and they're trying to work on something new. Remember, being dominant for 11 years, you've got to inject something new, you know? And I think he's just the right time for him. So I'm pleased to see what he's going to do. I think he's going to be given the time to work it out? No. And what I mean by that is if he's struggling, by January, they might say, you know what?
I think so.
Yeah, because
I don't believe that.
If you've gone
for a young manager like this, you've got to expect a little bit of growing pains.
So you think if they're third and out of cups
2 cups
in January, you think?
And the thing is, if Bayern Munich, how bad can you really be?
But they've done that before.
You're really going to be top. You're going to be top 2 anyway.
I think the issue with Company and Bayern Munich won't be the playing style; it will be the man management. Like this will be the first time he's playing with, or first time he's coaching
world
big,
class,
world
elite
class players.
Very
like,
good
if
players.
Neuer throws his toys at the pram, how are you going to handle that? Even Harry Kane, like how are you gonna handle the big egos? And I think playing wise, I don't think it's gonna be an issue. I think I think you'll have to see him at his best in terms of man management. And if he gets that right, I think he'll be okay.
And the thing is, he would know a lot of these players. Like he would have played against them and with a lot of these players because he's not that far removed.
No, he's not.
So like the Harry Kanes, Leroy Sané, those sort of players.
He played with Sané.
Yeah, he would have played with them.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing to do. If you've played with someone and been on a player level to then be the manager, it's a hard transition because they're still going to see you as Vincent, the player.
Then you're going to have to make an example
of Sané.
And then we're just going to round up another few kind of managerial things that have happened. So Xavi was sacked by Barcelona. Hansi Flick come in, and this is such a weird one. So like, I think it was in maybe like April or March. Xavi said, "You know what? I'm going to step down. I'm not going to take any money from you guys.
Yeah,
it's fine." And they were like, "No, we need you.
Well, we love you." Yeah.
They were on their knees begging, and he's like, "Oh, okay." And then just before the end of the season, they sack him, and you're like, "Why not just let him leave with a bit of dignity?" Kind of thing. Barcelona are a mess, basically.
Yeah.
I think they have been since Messi left. And it started like during his last season, the kind of financial worries.
Probably started with Messi, with the contracts that he was getting.
So it'd be interesting to see how it plays out with that. Hansi Flick, he was a target for Bayern Munich as well. He turned them down. Bit of a serial winner. So yeah, let's see how that goes. Jose Mourinho signed the contract with Fenerbahce last night, I believe it was, got revealed today. I don't know if you guys saw Fenerbahce season this year, but they finished on 99 points, only lost 1 game, finished second.
Oh, wow.
To Galatasaray, who got 102 points.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and it's a bit hard. They sacked their manager after achieving that.
Yeah, but you know, Turkish teams, they don't mess about it.
After two teams, Galatasaray and Fenerbahce.
Yeah, I think Mourinho will be a good fit out there. The Turkish are quite volatile.
And they love that. They love that, don't they? They love that whole...
I can imagine a little grab suit next time.
The flag and everything.
That game against Galatasaray is going to be intense, isn't it? So yeah, he'll be back in the Champions League. I'll put a little cheeky bet on them winning the league, to be honest. Like, if they done that well this year without Mourinho, let's see how they can can go. Depends if he's still in his pragmatic stage. He might need to be a bit more expansive. And then Conte to Napoli has been pretty much finalised. So Napoli had a pretty poor defence of their league title this year. But Conte next season, no Europe. I think they might be back.
And the Champions League as well, they were poor, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, poor all round.
Just a quick shout out for, we had a little bit of a championship theme today. Wayne Rooney on the managerial
I was
front.
gonna say that.
Oh yeah.
So I know you like what Wayne Rooney's doing.
Yeah.
Just not saying taking any job, but he's willing to cut his teeth at the lower levels to prove himself. So yeah, if you don't know, Wayne Rooney has been appointed the manager of Plymouth Argyle, who are in the Championship. When they were looking for a new manager, he actually called up the chairman himself and said, "Look, if can I have an opportunity to interview for the role?" And obviously that interview went well because he's been appointed. Yeah, I think he has to get this one right.
It's hard.
How many chances did he get?
Yeah, well, to be fair, Wayne Rooney's going to get a lot of chances.
Yeah, your name's Wayne Rooney. You're going to get endless chances.
So he was at Derby. We know Derby had a lot of financial constraints, etc. He done okay
well.
there. I think if they didn't get they got a points deduction, that's why they got relegated. If they didn't get the points deduction, he would have kept them up.
Free hit because they had the big massive reduction, so it didn't really matter.
And then he went out to the USA. DC United, I want to say.
Yeah, DC
was okay. Didn't really pull up any trees. I think the Birmingham one, everyone was kind of like, "Ooh, what's going on there? You've just replaced the really good manager who's sixth in the league with Wayne Rooney." And I think we all know, because they had loads of investment, we all know Tom Brady's a major investor there now. I think they wanted a name for sponsorship and all that stuff. Didn't work out because they ended up getting relegated last game of the season. So yeah, I think it's good that he's willing to cut his teeth at lower levels, etc. But I think he has to show some credibility now.
And they're a decent team as well. Plymouth are not bad.
But the thing I'm thinking of, why, again, which data can't capture, is where is his family based now? Are they in Manchester or Everton?
Yeah, because I think both his sons still play for United, or they both play for United. So I think they're based around.
And Plymouth is far. That's like the bottom.
Yeah, it's down there, in the
that's a big journey.
Let's see, Ben. Let's see. And yeah, before we end, we'll just say that England have got 2 pre-Euro 24 qualifiers this week. So they're playing Bosnia tomorrow at St James's Park, which is a sellout. Kieran Trippier is being confirmed as captain for the team today.
Okay, that's nice.
There's a few absentees, so obviously Bellingham won't be there. But I believe Saka, Luke Shaw, Maguire, and someone else whose name escapes me right now won't be playing in the friendly tomorrow. So I think tomorrow will be a bit of a mismatch.
But just a little run out to see.
Run around kind of thing. And then they play Iceland at Wembley, which is their last game before the squad has to get trimmed down for the Euros, which starts, it was 2 weeks yesterday, I believe, or maybe 2 weeks Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, so, let's see how England get on and what people will be moaning at Southgate about over the next couple of weeks. But I always like the Euros. I always like international tournaments. And I'll have my England kit on Friday when I go to Wembley to watch the game. All right, thank you very much, guys. So yeah, before we sign off, just say please like, subscribe, share, follow, all that good stuff, and we will see you next time. Peace.